Welcome back, guys, for another episode of the GhettoRig podcast. My name is Eddie. To my left, we have my co-host Jay, and behind the cameras, we got Miggy controlling all the buttons and good stuff back there doing his thing. So yeah, welcome back, episode 227. If I'm not incorrect there. Um, Shout out to our sponsors, UFC Gym Largo and Vitality Wellness Center. We haven't been doing that lately. I don't know why. It's kind of like been going over our heads in the beginning. Sometimes I've noticed sometimes in the beginnings we haven't been doing it as often. But yeah, shout out them. They sponsor us. They support us. We love you guys. Appreciate it. Um,
So we were not there last week. There were some things going on in the background, and
yeah. So unfortunately, you guys, we just
we
couldn't do it last week. Yeah. So sorry about that. But we're back. We're not gone. We didn't cancel. GhettoRig is still here. We're not mad at each other. Nothing. We didn't break up like your favorite boy band. We're still here. We're still here.
Ain't sinking got shit on us.
No. Did they last this long? I think they lasted this. They've lasted.
Yeah, it lasted a couple of years.
Yeah.
until it was.
I mean,
Justin,
what is
was
it?
Justin part of NSYNC?
How long have we been doing this now officially?
Bro, it's like 2.5 years now.
Two and a half years now.
Yeah, if you go back like the first episode, yeah, 2.5 years. Got to be.
Damn.
Got to be. And we even started before that.
January 13th of 2023.
So it's 2 years and a couple of months.
Yeah.
But we started way before that. We started
December.
probably around December.
Our first episode was December, like late December around Christmas time. That is gone with the wind.
Yeah, ain't nobody got those.
Yeah, ain't nobody got those. We don't even have them, sadly, which is kind of something. A little sad, but I mean,
it's for the better.
Yeah, I think so.
Bro,
I
was fat back then. Holy shit.
Because you've been hitting UFC Gym Largo.
Bro, isn't it crazy, like, how much we've learned from, like, making this shit look better, too? Like, this was just, all right, turn the cameras on and whatever the fuck
Yeah, no color
it
grading,
looks like,
nothing.
yeah, just do it, you know? And we were using a single camera at that time? Maybe two?
Maybe two.
I think we were using two.
No, I don't think we were using two. Because...
Yeah, we were.
We were? Yeah, we were. Damn, how were we using two? Because we didn't have the capture card at that time. How were we using two?
We figured it out. We GhettoRigged it, baby.
Yeah, I don't even remember how we did that shit. Because we didn't have the capture. You didn't buy that. You hadn't bought that yet. I don't think you did. Interesting.
There's a reason why it was called GhettoRig, right?
I guess.
But yeah, guys. So what do you got on that game front? I don't play games, but I
Grand-
heard about it.
Grand Theft Auto 6, the new trailer drop. Looks pretty good. If you want to pull it up, Miggy.
Yeah, but it got pushed back to May of next year, right?
Yeah, I saw some guy bet like $4 or $5 grand.
I remember what was going on this episode. I'm gonna clear your confusion. I know exactly what was going on in this episode.
Oh, Lynette was there.
I was switching angles manually with the other camera to be able to account for the other people.
Yeah, we had. Well, I don't remember us having two.
Well,
Like set up at the same time at that time, because how? With what, like capture card? How was it connected? That was the whole thing. You remember?
this is my computer at first. Look at my computer at the bottom.
I don't know.
That's my computer at the bottom.
I get what you're saying.
Bottom right.
I get what you're saying.
It was my graphics card. I brought my whole entire setup so that we could be able to.
But you can't input through the graphics card. The graphics card only outputs. The capture card which we bought way later on.
You can.
How are we doing the two cameras? I don't remember. I really don't remember. Was one connected like webcam style through just USB maybe?
Well, there's
'Cause
a
you can
third
do
one
that.
right there.
You
That has to be the
we
USB
were
cam.
probably using my Elgato Cam Link.
Yeah, but that still only does a single camera. You see what I'm saying,
But-
Miggy? You see what I'm saying?
But you would be able, you have two slots.
On your cam link?
Yeah, one in the Cam Link and one directly to the computer.
Oh my god, Miggy, you're not understanding.
Bro, we were doing it.
Yeah, I know we did it. Clearly, we fucking did it. There's proof right in front of us. You know, it was done, but I just don't remember exactly how it was done. But yeah, Grand Theft Auto 6 came out not came out. It comes out next year. I was saying I did see a guy. He bet some money, like $4 or $5 grand, I think it was, on that it would come out that it would not that Grand Theft Auto would not come out in 2025. And I guess at that time the odds were that it would, right? That Rockstar said it was going to come out in 2025, and he's going to make like 20 something grand now.
Yeah, apparently that game is gonna cost like $1 billion, or is projected to generate $1 billion. It's the most weighted game of all times, basically.
Well, it's gonna also cost over $100. It's gonna be like the most expensive single buy. They were talking about
$2 billion. Yeah, there you go.
$2 billion. Damn.
They're accounting for inflation.
Yeah. So, the stock dropped on Rockstar too.
Really? Why?
Tanked because it didn't come out. Everybody was betting on it to come out because the way stock is, it's all speculation, right?
See, but that's like the number one. Earnings. That's like the number one thing that Rockstar is like known for being good at is they take a long time to make their games, but they're always kind of done relatively well the first time. Like they don't have to make us a bunch of like serious updates and like fix a bunch of patches and bugs. I mean, do they have bugs? Yeah, it's a big ass fucking game. I mean. Even when GTA 5 was like the shit, it was 100 some gigabytes to download. Like it was really, really, really big of a game, and it's hard to have every nook and cranny working correctly. It's hard. It takes 13 fucking. That's what it takes. It takes 13 fucking years. Speaking of billion though, I real quick we'll go back to video games because Miguel got a video game he just pulled up, but billion, the Revenge of the Sith movie. Broken all the records for a re-release of a movie. It has now made over $1 billion for a re-release. The re-release of the movie box office $1 billion.
Yeah,
and it's still going, I think.
And then the other movie that we made with the what do you call those? The Seven Dwarfs.
Snow White.
Snow White. That didn't even fucking place. That's a shame. Like Disney, that's a shame. And didn't
even make its money back or whatever.
Yeah, so like it just goes to show you that whatever movies Disney did before, like even people.
Well, at that time, Disney didn't own Star Wars.
When that came out, didn't own Star Wars at that time.
No. That was it's crazy. George Lucas actually independently funded a lot of those films.
So even more of an indicator for Disney is like, bruh, like whatever shit you guys putting out, like this big gigantic machine of money.
And what's coming out now about Star Wars too is that George Lucas, when he sold the franchise over to Disney, he handed them plans of what he thought the sequels should look like.
Yeah. And probably Disney didn't even look at it.
Not even relatively close to what it would be, And you have guys like Mark Hamill, the guy that plays Luke Skywalker, coming out and even saying like, this is not Star Wars anymore. This is not Luke. This is not the Luke that I know. He would never make this decision. He would never do this. The Jedi would never do this. Like they hate on the Disney Star Wars so bad.
But at the same time, Disney was smart. They're like, we're fucking not making any money. Let's just release a movie that was really good and just collect money on that.
Well, that's something that they've done for the Star Wars for a little while now, and it was the 20th anniversary of one of the biggest Star Wars films. Period. That one and episode and like the earlier the originals have their place, but nowadays the prequels are now also like classics. When they first came out, everyone hated on them.
Cause I looked at it. The very first one came out. I think it's like 79.
77.
77. There you
77. Go. Yeah, I only know that because I have a Star Wars T-shirt and it says 77 on it.
Yeah, there you go. So 77. Neither one of us was born then.
No.
You know what I mean? 77. That's putting us damn near 50 years.
Yeah.
In 2 years, it'll be exactly 50. That's a long. Yeah.
And it's crazy that those films are still like so famous now. I mean, what other franchise is bigger than that?
Nothing.
Film wise?
Nothing. Lord of the Rings maybe comes close. Maybe Harry Potter.
But it's not even that. It doesn't even last. They're not. They're not that old. They don't have the following that Star Wars has. No.
They're not that old. No. Now, the only thing that can be closer is Star Trek, maybe. Star Trek might get there, you know what I mean, or Stargate Atlantis, like because they made the shows.
But
and
like
all that
you still
shit.
have, because of Star Wars, of how it continued on, like in the 2000s, of like with the cartoons and stuff like that. You have people like me that I did grow up watching Star Wars, and like in a sense where I watched the cartoons growing up, the Clone Wars, which are some of the best. It's like some of the best Star Wars content out there. If you can get past it being like a kiddish cartoon in the sense of like the storyline, um, you don't have that with like Star Trek and stuff like that. That's such an old thing, you know. All the shows are very old. So what is this RuneScape shit, Miguel? You've been I mean I say that like I don't know what it is. I played RuneScape. I played RuneScape back in the day.
If he knows about it, because this is a boomer game.
Pull that up right there. Yeah, I remember that shit, bro.
No, I have no idea what the fuck
I
this is.
remember that shit.
Mm-mm.
Actually, I think I played it before it even.
What year was this released?
Dude, like that.
This was like 2001.
Yeah, what year
no,
did
I have no
RuneScape
fucking
release?
idea what this is.
There was okay. So there was what year did original RuneScape?
Basically, it's like one of the OG. Damn, this shit came out before I was born. It's basically one of the original like MMO style RPG games, right? If that's how you would say it, Miguel, right?
No, because you gotta think about it. Like I came to United States right around 2001, right before 9/11, 3 months before 9/11, but I didn't have a computer here because I was like a fucking immigrant, no money, nothing. What was I gonna play?
Yeah. No, but I remember seeing this because Rodolfo's brothers, like one of his older brothers, played it a lot, and some of his friends, and we were just like, okay, we tried it, and we were to download it on our computers and play, and like we'd play at school and everything. We'd try and download it when we could, but this game is just so old, man, and
I think the game that I like when I bought the Xbox 360 after a couple of years has been out. That's when I resumed playing games, but that was on Xbox 360. I never really played games on a computer.
I mean, what year did Xbox 360 come out?
2008.
2008.
Yeah, I bought it
2008,
around
2009.
2010, 11. That's when I started playing again.
It was 2008 because I got to the U.S. 2008 for my birthday. I got an Xbox 360 and I was the happiest kid. Let me see if I'm right on this one though.
See, Miguel, your parents did love you, bro. Come on.
I never said they didn't.
2005. Yeah. Okay. So I bought it right around
2005.
2008. Then.
Oh, so never mind.
Was it the Xbox
I
One?
was late on that motherfucker.
No, Xbox One was already in the teens, right? Like 2000.
Dude, this shit. Oh my god, the memories were great. I got this shit and they had the arcade.
I was a
and they had,
PlayStation house.
They had like free games. Oh, so you never experienced the Xbox?
I always had PlayStation in my house. Even, you know what's funny is this is some whack shit. I'm gonna explain to you some whack shit that happened to me as a kid. My parents robbed me of a very cool experience as a young teenager. So
here we go.
My cousin Fernando, we know him as Nando. He's got two beautiful kids. He used to work in Malaysia as a pilot engineer for a pilot engineer for some rich dude, basically is how it was. And this rich dude would raffle tickets basically to my family, like have my cousin like do a raffle with my family, and whoever won the raffle could go to Malaysia to visit him. And if it was like a couple, if it was a guy that won it, it was a couple, he'd fly out the couple or whatever. My parents won it one year. They actually went. Yeah, my parents got to go to Malaysia, and that's like the only time they've like flown across the country, I think. And coincidentally, then the next year, the year after that, I win it. And I got a big ass family. You guys know this. Like, and he raffled it to everyone basically, or he did. And my parents didn't let me go. And my cousin felt bad, and so he was like, all right, so you can pick. I'll let you choose between an Xbox or an iPhone. And I didn't want a phone. I didn't even like iPhone at the time. I had a Samsung. And so I chose the Xbox. And then I sold it to buy my PlayStation 4. Yeah. That's how that went. So yeah, I had an Xbox for a little while, and I used it. I actually did use that one that he gave me. And it's a cool console. I never really even got into like the Xbox exclusives though. So like Halo and
so the thing with the Xbox was the reason people bought the Xbox because there are a lot more games on Xbox. PS4 didn't have PS3.
Did you just say that more people bought Xbox than PlayStation?
No. So what happened was in the beginning,
PlayStation sales every generation has just whooped any other console.
No, the
even I after getting an Xbox 360, I think like fucking years later, I still ended up getting one.
So the PlayStation, when it first came out, there's the first console. PlayStation definitely took it because that was the first console to come out. And then Microsoft came out and said, "Well, we're gonna start making Xbox."
Yeah.
When they did the Xbox, they slowly started ramping it up and getting more games under Xbox um, brand. So Xbox had more games than PlayStation did, and all the cool games used to start coming out on Xbox more than on PlayStation.
You're wrong about that, though.
I'm telling you, bro,
So
that was the
You're
consensus
you're
around.
The Xbox-
100% wrong
the
about that.
Xbox
The whole
do-
reason PlayStation, one of the main reasons PlayStation has the following it does, is because of the amount of exclusives that
Yeah.
it has.
Well,
No, I
the
agree with
Xbox
you.
has its own special thing about its own exclusives.
Yeah, there were a lot
What?
more,
Like
more
Bethesda.
games on Xbox.
Bethesda games, which also I want to talk a little bit about that today. They re-released kind of like a reskin version, remastered version of Elder Scrolls Oblivion.
I heard about that.
It looks really good, and that's the next
'Cause-
game I'm going to be playing.
PlayStation had the one that they have. What's that game with people with swords, like big ass swords fighting each other?
PlayStation?
Yeah, it's a PlayStation game.
It's not for Honor. For Honor.
No. It's like it's like a manga style game, but with big swords. It's PlayStation exclusive.
So
I don't
this
know. I
day.
mean, the
Sounds like
original,
Medieval Uno.
the original PlayStation exclusives that you're gonna see that are like known as like the biggest ones are gonna be things like Jack and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank,
For PlayStation?
Crash Bandicoot, yeah,
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man, the
Oh.
Spider-Man games because they're Sony, you know, like
Final Fantasy.
But some
Final Fantasy.
Final
Yes,
Fantasy
that's a very
is
big.
the biggest game that PlayStation 4 ever had. That's like the people are attributing PlayStation still kind of being alive because of Final Fantasy.
No,
But
No,
Bethesda
Jay.
Games is also
I think you're just biased.
very
no,
much
I'm telling you right now
associated
because of
with
all the stats. I play video games, bro. Come on,
I think you're
I've
biased.
seen all the stats.
The minute Halo came out, it killed PlayStation.
Okay, well,
The minute
why?
Halo came out,
Why?
killed PlayStation.
Okay, you're saying killed PlayStation, but why has PlayStation sold more in every single generation than Xbox? Why?
I don't know, but
Because you're wrong. Because it didn't kill
Guys,
PlayStation.
don't fucking fight about this. It's first of all video games, but second of all, it's because of the so many factors, including things like like game releases, different acquisitions of different game companies. Again, things like what I'm showing here, Xbox and Bethesda, which is a huge company known for Wolfenstein, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Doom, Starfield, The Evil Within, Prey. All those are huge.
But some of those came out on PlayStation.
Some of those like,
later maybe,
like Fallout, yeah.
maybe
but-
later.
I'm pretty sure
Xbox-
I'm pretty sure the Evil Within.
Well, Xbox acquired Bethesda later on. Not all of those, but some of the exclusive titles that they did make for Xbox
Didn't
are just for Xbox.
I know Halo was a specifically Xbox
Yes,
game.
Uh-huh.
it was. Yeah.
But not Modern Warfare, but the Call of Duty franchise.
It-
That was the
now,
first platform.
Now it belongs to Microsoft.
Microsoft.
Microsoft bought it.
But back then, no, because
Back then, no,
I
it
remember
was
Xbox
an
360.
independent.
Yeah.
It wasn't a tie. It wasn't tied to one of the manufacturers of the
Yeah.
consoles.
I think
But there's a new game that came out, Dragon Worlds, which is RuneScape basically themed, and this is kind of what it looks like. I'm not gonna show too much.
So is it RuneScape Dragon Worlds or is it just called Dragon Worlds? Like,
It's Dragon Worlds, but then they added RuneScape to it, which kind of like brought the intrigue onto people.
so. This is like a what's that game?
So it's based on the original crafting system of RuneScape. So leveling up different parts such as your mining, your crafting, your weapon building.
yeah, I remember all
but
this.
it's a 3D world now instead of a top looking.
You can actually look. Your
Yeah.
camera can move
It's
around.
a huge world, kind of like Elden Ring.
Didn't Diablo start this type of a gameplay? Wasn't Diablo the very first one to do this?
For what, like top down view?
Not top down view, specifically this type where you have to upgrade the strength and stamina.
Oh,
then
no. They're
What's the
games-
first MMORPG?
Well, it would be the first RPG because MMO is just massively
Multiplayer.
multiplayer online.
Yeah, so I guess first RPG game.
The first widely recognized
Dungeons and Dragons.
role playing
no,
No,
do a
no.
video game.
video game. Ultima. Computer role playing game is widely considered to be Ultima 3. Released in 1983. That's when my mom was born.
No, do something in 1990s. What was the most popular game in 1990s and 2000s?
What are you looking for here? Jay?
RPG video game.
Diablo.
Diablo, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
most popular. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Diablo.
Wizardry was also another one. This one
No.
was fucking hardcore as shit too. These were RPG games.
Hmm.
But then like when you're talking about first MMORPG ever made, Ultima Online.
1997.
Let's see what that looked like.
Yeah. But because I know like people were dogging PlayStation. I don't remember why
Yeah, because
exactly.
because all those people play Xbox.
Yeah.
It almost looks got better looking RuneScape, but the art style for RuneScape is so unique and timeless that
It does
doesn't
look very
compare.
similar to RuneScape, especially how packed that room is.
Yeah.
That
Dude,
shit
back
does,
then your computer would be fucking lagging.
bro.
out its
Anytime you'd go
ass.
into like some busy ass room,
It's like Club Penguin. I only got to play a little bit of Club Penguin, unfortunately.
oh, I played a whole bunch of Club Penguin. I
Oh,
played
by the way,
shit
talking
out of
about
Club
PlayStation,
Penguin.
PlayStation was very big in Europe. I think PlayStation was huge in Europe.
It was also big in Cuba. We would call anything a PlayStation. at least
Yeah, I
when we were
mean,
kids.
I think
PlayStation.
in Dominican Republic, no one wanted an Xbox. Everyone wanted a PlayStation, from kind of what I've gathered. But I mean, there is no argument when it comes to PlayStation versus Xbox. The sales are there. The exclusives
Can you
are
pull
there.
up the sales?
For what?
PlayStation versus Xbox.
PlayStation 2, I think, was like the biggest.
Oh no,
ever.
PlayStation 2. Yeah, PlayStation 2
No, I'm
was
saying
like
all of them, but all of them have outsold
No.
Xbox. Every single generation.
no, but PlayStation 1, 2, I think even 3 Xbox wasn't around. Maybe Xbox was around when 3
What do you
came
mean?
out.
They were all around. Yes.
Not 2.
Yes.
During 2, no.
Yes. Yes.
So blue is PlayStation, green is Xbox.
Damn, you telling me the Switch, Nintendo has passed Xbox?
Yeah, of course, the little kids, man. Of course. But that's PlayStation 4, right?
No, this is PS4 versus Xbox One.
Mhm.
So this
Go-
is even one of the
go-
later generations.
When pull that one up. Pull that one up right there.
I think all of these have like the different
No, there's
generations.
one over to the left.
That's what I just did. Right
No, to the left. There. No, to
You
the
went
right.
2 over.
Well, am I
to the
looking at
right.
Wrong thing?
To the right. There you go. PS4, 3DS, then there's Xbox One, Wii, PS3. That's between 2001 to 2022. Don't forget that the prices also have gone up during that time. So that, attributes some of that being ahead, right? Um, but when the PlayStation 2 was around, I don't think Xbox was around at that
Yes,
time.
it was, Jay. What are you talking
No,
about?
when was the
That was the original Xbox that was around. That's
when,
not
when
even-
was the original
that's not
Xbox
even here.
released?
First,
Original Xbox?
Mm-hmm.
2001.
I think I had one of these. Like down the road. I had one of these. I think I bought this like down the road. Like
I was so fucking mad one day, bro, because I went to Target and I got my favorite looking fucking game at the time, and it was like an X-Men game, and it was cheap. And then I got home and realized that I couldn't fucking play it because the disc was for an Xbox, not an Xbox 360.
oh shit.
That's why the game was fucking cheap.
So
Yeah.
the first PlayStation came out in 94 or 90,
'Cause I
94.
remember like in
And then the
Lithuania they had
PlayStation
this.
2 came out in 2000. So this came out the year after that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because I know they had the PlayStation in Lithuania, PlayStation 2, but they didn't have an Xbox. But when I came to United States, that's when the Xbox came around.
Reminiscing on good times here, fellas. This is the one.
Yeah. What was the most popular game on Xbox? Regular
So,
Xbox.
I'm gonna just send this over to Miggy so he can show you this graph. There was only one generation that they came close, but still didn't beat them.
Yeah, the Yeah, Fable was big. Halo definitely was like the one that took it all. When did they come out with a Halo? Halo 2 2004. What about Halo 1? Yeah, 2001. That's what I'm saying. The minute Halo came out, bro, and they started doing the multiplayer games, I remember at work, people would like get together after work, bring their TVs and Xboxes and
The LAN
connect and play
parties.
that shit. Yeah,
But
in
that was
someone's
around
house.
before Halo LAN parties.
All the nerds did it before them.
And then Fable was pretty big. Yeah, I've played the Fable game as well. I
I
know
just
that.
sent you a link to a graph that has all the sales for every generation that matches up. So of course they don't have the original PlayStation on
Yeah,
there
yeah, of course they're not gonna.
because
There's no point.
yeah, because there's no Xbox matchup,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a matchup for every other
Yeah,
generation.
PlayStation 2 versus Xbox. That makes sense because Xbox was not. PlayStation was known, right? So we get rid of that. And then PlayStation 3 to Xbox 360, they almost came close. And that was because, partially because of the Halo. PlayStation 4 versus Xbox One. I know that
Not
Xbox
even
wasn't.
close.
Yeah, Xbox
They only
wasn't.
came close in 2006.
Mm,
Besides that, PlayStation has sold more than double than what they've sold.
yeah. No, I understand that. I understand that. But
It doesn't
that
sound
was
like it when you're
worldwide.
saying Xbox killed PlayStation.
Yeah, but that was worldwide, and I agree. Worldwide, PlayStation is more
I can
popular.
understand.
No,
his,
it's not just
I can
worldwide,
understand
It's
his
bro.
worldwide, not in the
argument.
United States. What about United States sales? Pull up
I
the
can
United
understand
States.
his argument because at the time when Halo did come out, for a while, yes, there was a huge decline. I would imagine of players going from from PlayStation over to Xbox just for that game, but it does not mean that it was like a complete killer.
Can you pull up the sales in United States for Xbox versus PlayStation?
PS5 has sold significantly more units than Xbox Series X. Reports that the PS5
That's the new one,
is
right?
the same one right here that we just saw.
That's the new one though.
Which one do you want to see?
PS2, PS3, and PS4.
PS3 and PS4?
Well, PS3 versus Xbox and PS4 versus Xbox.
Okay. North
Yeah,
America,
see, there you go.
the Xbox 360 outsold the PlayStation 3 by a significant margin with 46 million units sold compared to 23 for the PS3. This dominance of the Xbox 360 is a key factor in its overall perception as its dominant console of the generation.
And then
you
do
wanna see
PS4?
PS4.
Yeah.
What'd you do there? PS what?
PS3 versus Xbox 360.
That's not the right console to compare.
Why not?
Why not?
PS4?
No.
PS3 versus
Or sorry, PS3.
versus Xbox
Versus Xbox
360.
360.
Is that the right generation
I think
to
so.
compare?
It's got to be. Yeah, right there. I'm telling you, the international sales are the ones that kept the PS4 going. America did not like PS4. Well, which I'm biased, right? Because I was at that time I was in the United States, so I'm just telling you what I hear from the United States. I didn't even care what the world thinks about it.
Now,
But
in the PS4 versus the Xbox One debate, PS4 sold twice as many.
yes, because I can tell you that right now. Because even my little cousins, they've been playing games and they've been playing only PS4 games. When you mention an Xbox, they're like,
I
"That's
mean,
crazy."
even most of the friends that I have PlayStations.
Yeah, no,
that I
nobody
know.
says that people didn't have them. They did. It's just that wasn't popular. 360 killed it. I know in United States, 360 killed it. And partially because of they were the first ones to come up with those like first-person shooters, right? Like Xbox was the one
No.
they were the first ones to make it on a on an actual platform like that. Not because on a computer you could play the Counter Strike before and you could do all that.
Call of Duty came out before Halo. If I'm
Correct.
not mistaken, and that was
Oh,
on
I
both.
don't know if that came out, but
On
I know
PC.
Counter Strike came out before. Counter Strike was on
Yeah, so I don't know what you mean. Shooter
on a
games.
computer. First person shooters on a
Console.
console. Halo was the one that did it.
Okay, I get what you're saying. There's all this fame around Halo, but you keep saying it was the first person, like the first one to do it. And it's not the first one to do it.
No, first one on Xbox to take it completely mainstream. Because at first people were playing Counter Strike and this, but it wasn't mainstream. Xbox 360 with Halo, that's what made it fully mainstream.
I don't. You can 100% credit first-person shooters being famous to one game, and that is Call of Duty.
Halo was Halo.
You're
Halo
gonna-
was played
Jay, I don't
more
think
than
you're-
Call of Duty.
It's like me trying to argue with you about finance. You realize that, right?
But Halo, I'm telling you, Halo was a bigger deal than Call of Duty.
Never.
Put Halo sales versus Call of Duty.
I can't argue, bro. I wasn't there.
No, could you put in Halo sales versus Call of Duty
Dude, how are you even trying right now? I don't understand this.
in the United States?
Why does it in the United States matter?
Because I wasn't here, I can just tell you only about United States. I can't tell you about the world.
You're trying to frame the facts in a certain way to help your biased anecdotal data help you. No, it's the whole world that played the game, bro. It's not just the United States.
I understand what you're saying, but the Halo was the game that everybody would make parties and play. Like it wasn't never. I've never heard of anybody saying, "Well, I'm gonna go to somebody's house to play Call of Duty." They were going.
You're not even a gamer. How are you gonna say that?
I would also disagree.
You understand that I was once young, right? I've played those
But
games
you're not
once when
a
I was.
gamer.
I would disagree though because I was.
What does that mean? You're not a gamer? Like I don't sit there and like play and memorize every. But I've played every single one of those games way before you even knew those games are possible to be played. I was literally playing them before. Like I was playing those games when you were 4 or 5 years old.
He's basically challenging you to 1v1 right now, bro.
I'm not challenging. I'm not challenging
Snipers
one.
only. All right.
I'm not challenging
Last
one
kill has to be a
1v1.
trick shot.
I'm not challenging 1v1. I'm just telling you when Halo was happening, I was in a country where maybe 4 or 5 years at that point when Halo thing was kicking off.
But you just said that you didn't even buy anything until 2008.
No, I remember now. I had the old one.
Oh, you remember now.
Yeah, but it's been fucking 20 goddamn years, bro. It's been 20 years. Halo, when Halo came out, I was working. I remember to this day, I was working in Macaroni Grill.
So you were working
And
about
that was
a
about-
bunch of Xbox fiends.
4 to 5 years into United States. At 4 to 5 years, that would put you at 4 years old max. At 4 years old, you're still like taking a poop on a little.
No, I was
little
playing
thing.
in PlayStation 2,
At
playing
4 years old.
playing Crash Bandicoot.
Yes, but you were not playing the RPG first-person shooters where people are already getting together.
Okay,
in each
well,
other's
you don't
homes
even know
and
what you're saying
connecting
because
the
it's not an
LAN.
RPG first-person shooter. It's not even the same class of game.
Bro, you talking about
You
terminology.
don't even know what you're saying.
The point is,
This is what I said.
Halo was the one that you would pick a character and you play online and you shoot at everybody else that is not on your team.
No,
What do you mean no?
Call of Duty is that game.
Okay. I don't know how else to tell you. I don't know. Call of Duty, nobody was playing Call of Duty back. Yes, then Call of Duty started becoming more popular. There was a time where Halo was more popular than Call of Duty.
The game.
The game itself was more popular than Call of Duty. And then Call of Duty made it better. And so they took off and then Call of Duty became the thing. But that first person shooter type started with Halo.
When did Halo first go online?
And then Call of Duty, you could play, I don't remember when was this, but you could play Call of Duty on a PC back then.
No, online, because that's just when it first came
Online.
out. You couldn't play, like, I'm sure in 2001 you weren't playing
I believe
online.
it was Halo Reach, the one that was completely online.
No, not completely, but I'm saying, like, when could you first play online in Halo?
No, people were playing LAN. Online, yeah.
No,
but
you looked up specifically Halo Reach.
Halo franchise 2001. Yeah, Call of Duty came out in 2003. This is exactly what I'm trying to tell you.
Wait, Halo Online multiplayer.
No, that's wrong.
Yeah, so you go. People were playing this through LAN. They would get together in their homes and they would connect their computers with different TVs. They would even drag their fucking big ass square TVs with them in their cars, so they can get together and play this game. And then the Call of Duty came out, and that made it a thing. And then it started taking over Halo. Halo kind of
So
started holding, but it
Halo
didn't.
2 was the one that had online,
Hmm.
What year was that?
and that was 2004.
Yeah.
Call of Duty.
It was released in
Well, we
2003.
can't say well the original Call of Duty. I don't.
They
know
had
if it was
online. Yeah.
Well, the war had online for sure.
What
Well-
year first Call of Duty Online?
When did Call of Duty first online play?
Yeah, 2003 or 2002. You were still 3 years
Online
old.
multiplayer was Call of Duty 2, released on October 25th,
25.
2005.
So a year later, or was it almost a year later? That's what I'm trying to tell you. Halo was the one that kind of started this whole thing, and then Call of Duty came over and just wiped everything out of the fucking way and just took over everything.
I mean, the real first online multiplayer console game that was big was Quake.
Quake was big, yeah. Quake
That was the
big.
first FPS that was the
Yes.
biggest that was online for
But
consoles
but
and
the
everything.
original like the person shooter was the Counter Strike.
Yeah, when it
Counter-Strike
comes
was
to
the-
like the biggest
was the one.
first person online shooter, when you're just talking like everything, not just console.
Yes,
Counter Strike.
Counter
For sure.
Strike. But that was only like
I mean, even then, I think actually, I think Quake is older,
Quake is older. Quake is older.
but it's not as big.
Not as big. Counter Strike what made it big for the PC.
You know who? Well, Quake was on PC first before console, but you know who loves Quake? Joe Rogan. Here you go, Biggie.
Yeah, because the Quake was Um, well, the very first like RPG first person shooter that I ever played was Doom. The very first one, Doom, and you would just go around and shoot Nazis. Basically, that's what you did. It was pretty like, yeah. But Quake was one of the other games, but the Counter Strike was the one that people would just like. I'm talking about. For the longest time, I couldn't figure out what the fuck's going on. So you would jump into a room, and there would be like fucking thousands of people shooting at each other, and people would be using cheat codes and shooting through walls and shit. Like they would just come in with those fucking lawnmower guns, like the big whatchamacallit,
Like a minigun.
like a
Or a
minigun.
Tommy?
No, like more like the one that feeds the
Like an LMG style.
and we just shoot through the walls and just like mow people down.
Did you guys ever play this game?
No,
Not that one, but
I'm not that old, bro. Come on.
This game was the fucking shit.
Yeah,
no,
no,
not
no.
that one. The only
They
one.
came with like a little gun and everything, right? That you would use to like aim at the screen and set up
I-
a sensor and shit like that. Wasn't
I
this
don't
this one?
remember this
I
one.
don't know, dude. I played this on the PlayStation 2, I think. And
I-
it was against my cousin.
Tom Clancy was pretty big, like that I liked a lot because it was super difficult. Like you had to be super quiet about everything.
But we would have to do LAN, like split screen LAN, and we would be like, "Don't look at my screen," and we would look at each other's screen, bro.
Yeah. That was the worst. That's why these people would, instead of playing split screen, they would just bring their own TVs and just fucking
Oh,
hook
that's
them up.
expensive. We're kids.
Yeah.
Bro, we used to do some crazy shit to make sure motherfuckers wasn't screen peeking.
Did you ever play Call of Duty?
That
Oh,
shit was the
fucking,
most aggravating thing ever to
Modern
play
Warfare?
split screen. Yeah, like you play split screen. Oh my god, bro! There was times where we would play four. You know, you could play like up to four people at one time, and it would split the screen, like the TV, into four quadrants. That shit was annoying.
Coming around a corner, spraying with a P90.
Dude, like I remember, and there was that one time. I don't remember if it was Call of Duty or not, but like if you were playing with just three people, it would split the screen like two on the top, and then the bottom person would get like a wide view,
screen, yeah.
and it that shit. We would all fight for that shit.
But anyway, I think the games have gone so much better now, and you guys have switched basically from the consoles to PC now.
Yeah, I don't really use my console. That I have everything from PS2 all the way to PS5 in this house still, and
But I never liked the online play. I always liked the storyline the best of any of the games. I always played the storyline better because it was just that mindless running around and shooting was fun. but then you're just doing the same shit over and over again.
See, that's because you never got into the competitive factor of it.
What do you mean? You playing the game? Of course, you're getting into the competitive part of it.
No. I mean competitive, like you're playing against a person
Yeah.
or with a person.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing. You playing in the story mode.
No, but the story mode, like the actual idea of the story mode, you completing tasks and doing shit, like going through different areas, like you're doing this and that. I enjoyed that better. I enjoyed that idea better.
I like the shit talking.
You would
I don't mind that.
love fucking World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft? I never played that,
You would
Actually, you know what? Pull up the very first World of Warcraft.
my fucking dream as a child.
Never played that.
I think I might have played that.
This
Very
is the
first
biggest
ones.
video game of all
Yes,
time.
I've played that. I played that on a PC actually back in Lithuania,
Dude, this is my baby.
where you would just build the bases and then send the orcs or humans over.
Yeah.
There was another game. I think it was like Age of Civilization or something like that.
That's a big one too.
There was another one with dragons where you could like create dragons. There was like red, blue, I think, and black dragons.
How old is the original Sid Meier's Civilization? You know what I'm talking about, Maggie?
I've played that game. Because back then, we didn't have those consoles, so we had to go and pay money and play in a game hall. Yes, this one. And this game was fucking annoying.
1991. God damn.
Yeah.
You know my friends still play this.
I'm sure they do.
They still play it. It's like
it's a badass
Civ.
game.
It's like Civ 5 now. Is what is like what's out currently. I
Mhm.
think.
6, I think.
It's
Civ
a bad.
6
It's
maybe.
it's a very difficult game. Like
Yeah, I guess there's 6 now
yeah,
or
It's a
7 even.
very very
Yeah.
difficult game to play.
Yeah, they like playing. They play with each other and raid the fuck out of each other, build this, build that.
Mhm.
You know.
And the key to these games was a lot of people didn't know what they would do is they would just like build things and then just would like try to get a big army going and then just send the whole army in. But the key to this game in the beginning, it was just like you created one person, send them, and just constant sending.
Well, the game is like
Constant.
I think a lot more in depth now. Like there's
Yeah.
like religion in the game and
Oh
like
shit, yeah. I
getting your
remember.
people to believe and like
Yeah,
how is
yeah,
it that
no.
you want to motivate them and then like all this kind
I
of
remember we would build the churches, like the temples and whatever, but there wasn't like you would just build the temple.
shit. No, there's like a whole system behind that now.
Yeah.
The game is very in depth from what I've heard. I've only heard my friends playing it. I know one of them is very
But
bad.
you
They roast
understand
him
what
for
I'm
doing
saying?
the
Because
same shit
biggest
wrong.
mistake was people would build the barracks and then just create the soldiers and then just get a big group of soldiers to go and fight, and that was the wrong thing to do. It was the best thing was like you created one, you send them, and just constant attacking would actually ensure that you win the game. That was the cheat code.
There was a point in time in my life when I really enjoyed these type of games where you'd build up like a village or something, and you would like have people farm, have people
Yeah.
cook. I don't know. I found that interesting.
Beyond Clash of Clans, I've never done a game like that.
Playing Farmville? No.
Farmville, I played Farmville and like
There you
Clash
go.
of
That's
Clans,
one.
but it's all like phone games.
You know
You
what was
know?
the coolest game on PlayStation actually? It was on PlayStation 1, I think, and then they released it on 2, or it wasn't on 2. It was this game where you would pick a car, and it was like it was one of those games where you would play against somebody else, or so you would pick a car, and each car had its own like little type of rockets and guns in it, and you would just go and you like shoot this.
Oh god damn! What is it called? They made a movie about it.
And then there was this clown car. There was
Uh
like a
huh.
clown
That's
ice cream
that's
car.
the main car that they
Yeah.
put on the. God.
They
damn
made
it.
a movie which sucked, by the way.
Yes,
The
it
movie
did
fucking
suck.
sucked
Apparently,
big time.
I didn't watch it, but I heard about it.
And then there was this truck. Everybody like the most coveted thing was the truck or the clown car because they were really good at like the rockets and the guns that they used to have.
Just gonna look up old PlayStation
Cars,
game.
not cards.
Twisted Metal. Yeah.
That's the one. Can you pull up the pictures? Twisted Metal.
Yeah, that's the game you're
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah. There is the clown car right there. And bro, this game we played the shit out of this. Like, pull that picture, that one right there. No, the one over. Yeah, like that. I remember this. Like, you would just like run, and then you would just run people over and get points and shit. Like,
See, the thing is Jay, you have to realize for me, the only reason there's two reasons I had a PlayStation in my house growing up. One of them was my sister. You know, she was
Yeah.
a teenager wanting console and this and that. But at the end of the day, she was a girl. She didn't really play that much.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, go down. Go
But
down.
my dad, since I was a
okay.
kid,
Up. Well,
he's had an obsession with with Formula One and
Yeah.
racing and stuff, and we always had a wheel in my house, a wheel and pedals.
Yeah.
And so my dad was definitely not buying a game like
No,
this.
hell
He
no,
was
he's
buying
not
Gran
buying.
Turismo
Yeah.
and
Yeah, yeah,
Formula
of
One
course.
and shit like that. So
This was one of the cars. Like you would get this. This guy was not very strong because any rockets and they pretty much like take a lot of life. But he was very quick and agile. And he had like pretty fast rockets. So like you kind of had to pick. But the clown car was the clown car, and then the truck were the number.
damn, they released them all the way up until PlayStation 3.
Mm-hmm.
I had nostalgia looking at your brothers, like that box you had in your office with all your brothers' old games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
There's
looking
a
through
movie
that.
series, I think, on it.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. They made a movie. Apparently,
Yeah,
it
the
sucked.
movie sucked, man. I watched it and I was like, all right, this is dumb. The game was just so much better.
I never played the game.
That was actually like the very first original like shoot at each other and try to kill each other type of game. You know what I mean? But with cars, not with people. On consoles, not. And then there was of course, then the God of War came around, which was actually wasn't God of War on Xbox as well?
That's a PlayStation
Is it a
exclusive.
PlayStation exclusive? You're right. There you go.
That's what I'm saying. When it comes to exclusives, and even Xbox people will admit this, nothing beats PlayStation.
Well, don't get me wrong. I had both. I had the Xbox and I had the PlayStation. But then later down the road, I ended up just sticking with Xbox because of the Call of Duty games.
I played the
You mean Halo?
fuck out of this game.
Call of Duty afterwards.
But Call of Duty was on PlayStation too.
No. The Call of Duty then came out on Xbox 360.
You're saying it was only on Xbox?
No. It was on PlayStation as well.
Uh-huh.
But because I just bought it for Xbox and then just kind of stuck with it instead. It never upgraded my PlayStation. I think I had the PlayStation 3, and then down the road I got the PlayStation 4 after I already had the 360 for the longest time. But it was always I would get the Xbox first and then I would get the PlayStation if I get a deal from somewhere. I don't think I ever had 4. I think I had the PlayStation 3. That was the 360 and 3.
And then that's when he lost his childhood.
Yeah, then life gets in the way, right? Like you gotta work and do shit,
I haven't played anything in a minute. I haven't really been at my computer much.
Sounds like you should play some RuneScape Dragon World.
Is it free?
No, but I'll pay
Yeah.
for you if you want to play it.
This motherfucker. What's the last time you did it? Mickey, I remember one time he hit me. He said,
But
"You want to play Borderlands?" I said, "Mickey, didn't that game come out like 10 years ago?" He goes, "Yeah, bro, but I want to play. I'll buy it. Let's play it." All right.
the God of War, what got me to play the God of War, I got the the little PlayStation, the very first one they came out with.
The PlayStation, the PSP
PSP.
Portable. That shit was
Fire.
Nintendo wishes they could make a product as well made as that was for its time.
What made it even cooler? People figured out how to fucking
Jailbreak
jailbreak it.
yeah.
And you would get any game on a little thing, and you just pop it in for free, and I played the shit out of that.
There used to be a thing that you could do as well for Xbox 360 for their store, that you could kind of jailbreak the Xbox and just get any game.
So-
Yeah, I never. Yes, you're right, but I never really messed with that.
Yeah, I knew.
There was like they're involved.
I never did it. I just knew of people that had talked about it, and I may have potentially
Yeah,
seen it one time.
I think the way to do it, you had to like undo take it apart and change a part in it or some shit like that.
I knew there was some USBs that you could get
Yeah,
that came
something like
preloaded with hundreds of
I
games and
think it
stuff
was
like
USB.
that. Or
But then
would,
you had to
unlock the
jailbreak it
store.
in order to play
yeah,
it.
You did.
Yeah, that's why PSP was cool because you could just jailbreak the shit out of it and just play it. And for a while,
I always thought it
played
was
that.
just such a well-made product, like all around, like the quality-wise, like the convenience, for the time that it came out at. I mean,
There were some interesting ways to fuck around with consoles too. I think there was a time glitch with PlayStation where you could like probably do like a demo trial of a game, but then set your time on your PlayStation so that it's a different time so that you could play it for longer.
oh, shit.
People would do. some
I know.
crazy
I know Rodolfo, when he gets chat banned on Call of Duty, he just changes his time on his PlayStation to like fast forward because the chat ban's only for like a week or whatever. So he fast forwards to the next week
So
on
how
his
many
PlayStation.
fucking years he's in the future now?
I don't know.
Why is he
But
a
I-
Chad band? Good talking shit.
Shit
Oh,
talking.
that's just a fucking.
They
That's just
took-
a.
They took the best part of Call of Duty out of Call of Duty.
Are you not allowed to now talk shit?
Not only that, like because of the way the system works, like you can only like something as simple as you going "fuck, man," and they'll like chat ban you for some reason.
That's system bans you, not the people.
I'm pretty sure it's a system thing now.
Damn, that's dumb.
Yeah.
They're like doing against that bullying stuff.
Yeah, don't even dare drop the N bomb.
What?
Yeah,
That's why there's third parties, man. Discord.
that's what I told him. This is the thing, right? I asked Rodolfo, "Are you using the computer now, right, to play games?" So we built him a computer, and he goes, "No, I've been using it, but right now I'm using the PlayStation." And I go, "Why'd you switch back? That makes no sense." He goes, "I'm chat banned," and I go, "What?" He goes, "Yeah." He literally laughed while he told me to. He goes, "Yeah, I can change the date on the PlayStation to like undo the ban. I can't do that on the computer." And I told him, "I go, bro, use fucking Discord already." And he goes, "Oh, it's gonna be so hard to get these guys to use it." And I'm like, "Bro, that shit is so stupid." Because the thing is too is like, they play the Battle Royale Warzone, which is like the big ass map that everyone goes in. It's 100 people, and you gotta survive and be the last team, right? Call of Duty has now added what they call what is it? Proximity chat. That's the word I was looking for. Proximity chat. So basically, anybody that's around you, you can hear them, they can hear you. But if you don't use the game chat, that doesn't happen, right? Because you just mute your game thing and you can hear them, but they can't hear you because you're talking through a different channel, right? And so like anytime I play with him, I can't like all the time. Every time I speak, I hear some other motherfucker going, "We hear you," like, or "We know where you are," like. They automatically like you can't say like, "Oh, I'm here," because everyone around you then's gonna know I'm there. If you get what I'm saying, because it opens up the chat to anybody in your proximity, including the enemies. So if the enemy's around you and you speak, they can hear you.
But that's dumb.
It's not dumb. It's kind of fun when you want to use it, but it's very dumb when you're using something like a console, which is stupid because console now has Discord where you can use like the outside channel to speak. But yeah, it did become a little annoying.
Yeah, because talking about even Call of Duty. When I played Call of Duty, to me buying the headgear was like an extra expense. I didn't want to spend the money, so I played the Call of Duty without the chat, without nothing.
As
I
a
would
kid,
just
that would
play
bug
myself.
the fuck out of me when I was in the middle of a game and I was getting shit on and they were talking shit and I couldn't say anything. I went out on one of my birthdays and I spent the very little amount of money I got and I spent it on a fucking headset.
But how
I
could you
got-
hear?
It wasn't even a PlayStation
How
headset.
could you
it
hear-
was a fucking Wii
Well,
headset.
How could you
PlayStation-
hear him if you didn't have the headphones? You had to have the headphones plugged in
No,
order
you
to
can hear
hear.
people.
It would come through the TV.
Yeah.
I never heard. I don't know why.
He was playing with
But-
the sound off.
Maybe.
Uh,
Well, no, I could hear the. I could hear the.
I can't hear the footsteps.
I could hear the shooting
But
and stuff.
with the PlayStation, anything PlayStation and 3 and up, it came with like the little headset.
No, but the Xbox. Remember, I was doing more Xbox. than
Xbox came
PlayStation.
with a headset too.
Did it?
In the box.
The little fucking
The one
janky
sided
one.
Yeah, the one
I
sided.
never fucking used it. I never used
Yeah.
it.
Well, that's how you're supposed to speak to people using
Yeah,
that.
I wasn't fucking using it.
But games back in the day didn't have the sound for footsteps and shit, anyways.
Yeah. So. And then Wii, I don't know if I had a
I
Wii
had
or
a
somebody else had a Wii that
I had
played.
Nintendo products growing up too. I had a DS, the original.
This is the one.
No, there was
Yo,
another one. There was a
this
white
my
one.
First microphone to play this particular game right here, dude, on the Wii.
On the Wii.
Yeah. This
I had-
shit was,
I had
was
World-
killing motherfuckers with that remote. Pow, 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 pow. I was flicking the fuck out of my wrist.
The very first Call
Because
of,
you remember you were able to get a controller for the Wii,
Yeah.
so that you could play this game. But
They
no,
also
I
had an
would raw-
attachment.
I would
where-
raw dog the fuck out of this.
Yeah, they had an attachment for the Wii because I had World at War, right? And I remember we got an attachment for mine that you would put the controller into this thing that kind of looked like a gun.
oh shit.
Yeah.
Now, can you pull up the very first Call of Duty?
Oh, I was fucking people up with that nunchuck or whatever the fuck it was called.
Bro, them nunchucks never wanted to fucking connect sometimes,
Bro,
though.
do you know how comfy that shit in a way was for me to play that? I was just sitting back, just This one, like. This
I mean, that's the best thing about consoles is controller playing. It's so
It's
comfy.
fucking great.
Can you pull up Call of Duty 1 and pull up all the guns? Yeah, pull that up real quick. There was a
This is
specific.
Black Ops. This is
No,
Black
no, not
Ops.
Black Ops. The very, very first one.
Hold on, I gotta sneeze.
Bless you.
Appreciate it. Call of Duty 1.
The
Why
very
is it-
first Call of Duty game.
Call of Duty 1 gun. Why is it not? These?
This is a world at war.
There was a gun. There was a gun that was a semi-automatic.
That
That
was all of the guns.
that right. I think that was the semi-automatic. No,
This is like a standard issue.
M1 Garand,
Yeah.
see,
basically.
it wasn't a bolt action. It was a semi-automatic, but that
All the guns
style.
were semi-automatic back then.
Huh?
For those type of games, all the guns were semi-automatic.
No, it wasn't a bolt action.
That's
See-
not a bolt action.
That one right there. That gun, right?
This?
That's
No.
the gun that was just on the screen is not a bolt action.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. That gun. This. Pull this up right here.
This?
This. I think it was this map. But you would get that gun that is not a bolt action, and you would put well, back then they didn't have a red dot sight. It was just a cross, right? Like with a little glass, and that thing was so overpowered. Like you could shoot across the map, especially if you were inside of a building high up. You could shoot across the map with that cross, and if you're remotely anywhere on a body of a person, it would just knock them out right away. And that's the gun I used the most. I would just camp
That's
out.
the biggest issue I have with the current Call of Duty is how many guns are in the game. It's too many. You have guns from 3 games mixed into one. Like you have the same gun, the same MP5, repeated in 3 different versions.
Oh shit.
Because it's from 3 different games mixed into one.
Well, that's dumb. And another thing was like they kept adding attachments. Then they had to remove an attachment to put in an attachment. So then for me, it got way too much. It's like, well,
I like that. The attachments I like. Make the attachments.
no, I like the
complex.
attachments, but the idea of like them giving you 95 attachments, you can only use X, versus
Well,
like being
that's
able.
balancing.
Yeah.
That's balancing for the game. You know, if they allow you to put every single attachment you want on the gun and fill it out completely, the guns start to become too overpowered in a sense.
No, I get it.
So they allow like a max amount of 5 attachments right now in the game, and then you can get like perks to add more.
Yeah. So those guns were pretty decent. That one was pretty good. I liked that one a lot because it was a fast shooting gun. Another one that was pretty good, and then later down the road they came out with that shotgun. I would just hold the shotgun, run, and not even aim, and just like blast, hip fire, just blast and just run through the map. That gun right there. Go back up. That gun right there. No, down. That one right there. Bro, you would get that gun and you put the
It's
X.
the same thing.
Yeah, you put the X marker on it. It's the most overpowered gun in that game.
The car has always been known for being the deadliest.
You're saying that gun or there?
No, see, that's a bolt action. That one.
I'm talking about this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like a.
Is that a Car 98? Is that what that
Yeah,
is?
this is the car 98.
That is like legendary, baby.
I always liked using red dot sights on a sniper gun. For whatever reason, I was much more accurate with that red dot sight than a sniper gun, the sniper scope. I never could get into like the quick scoping or any of that shit. Yeah, those games were fun.
Good times.
Mm-hmm.
Get ready to wrap it up.
We're here at an hour, and I think we should go play some video games.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you for everyone for joining us. Damn, I blinked. Shout out to our official sponsors, UFC Gym Largo and Vitality Wellness Centers. Check those things out, guys. Links in the description. We'll see you guys on Thursday. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.